I'm Jay from the Kubz Scouts. Welcome back to another episode of reacting to these true story animations. A lot of you guys recommend me stories from all over the place. One that caught my eye is a girl that got stuck in her crush's locker and saw everything. We don't know what everything is, but I think we have an idea. If you guys are cool with that and you're down with that, everybody get ready and buckle up, because here we go!
Hello, I'm Sam, and I will share with you a creepy story that happened to me.
Sure.
So, I'm a 17-year-old high school student, and I have a crush on a guy called Ben. He doesn't know it yet, but I'm planning on telling him soon. Ben and I share most of our classes. Well, honestly, I joined the classes that he did just so that I get closer to him.
Okay, definitely getting those Yandere vibes.
Ben thought I'm weird because I ended up in all of his classes. Today at school, I bumped into him, and he made a disgusted face and walked away. I knew it would be hard to confess straight to his face, so I had to write him a letter instead. I prepared a pink letter covered with red hearts. I expressed all my feelings to him.
Did you seal it in your blood?
Next morning, when I came to school, and I went to Ben's seat and left the letter in his backpack. As I walked out, the whole school was talking about how Ben and Stacy started dating.
Who?
My heart was shattered. I felt hopeless, so I ran to the bathroom and just sat there and cried my eyes out.
On the floor too with all those germs? Yuck!
I dried it with toilet paper on my way out. I heard Ben and his friends coming towards the bathrooms. Then I heard someone saying, "Did you see Sam? She's totally into you. She burst into tears when she saw you with Stacy." What did I just hear? Are they laughing at me? I had to follow them.
They weren't even laughing at you. They had no reaction to you whatsoever. They weren't even smiling.
I had to follow them, but they went into the shower room. I still had to hear everything they said about me. Curiosity kills me. I tried to listen through the door, but it wasn't clear enough, so I had to walk in. I snuck in quietly while the boys were showering.
Oh, you saw all their
peepees?
Ben's locker, you sicko?
Just to see what he keeps there. I saw his name on the locker, so I opened it, and I heard the water turn off, and the boys were coming towards the lockers. I freaked out, so I hopped in the locker hoping that Ben won't open it. And there he was, standing like a model in a white towel, drying his hair with another towel.
Is he gonna open the locker with his wang out?
I have to admit, even though he laughed at me, my heart was racing, but I'm not sure if it was because I'm in his locker and about to get caught, or because he is so damn handsome. All the boys started opening.
I don't know if it's because I'm about to get caught or he's just so damn sexy in that zooming effect, like.
All the boys started opening their lockers. So
why do they all look
like
the same clone? What is happening here?
My eyes couldn't let go of Ben as I saw him opening the locker in front of the one.
Oh, I thought he was gonna open his towel and she saw everything.
Which also said Ben. OMG. Am I that stupid to forget that my brother's name is also Ben?
Wow.
I was so blinded by Ben that I hopped into my own brother's locker. I hate myself. I even sniffed his underwear.
Oh my god, you sniffed your own brother's balls that were resting upon his blue man thong.
What is wrong with me? Ew.
Everything.
I got sick.
There's so many things wrong.
Throw up,
I could write a Christmas list of all the things wrong with you.
Just made it all worse. The boys finished dressing up and left the shower room. I jumped out right away to breathe some fresh air and tried to walk out, but the shower room was locked. I decided to go through Ben's
stuff. How is the shower room
and
locked?
Wait for someone to
it's
come open the door.
It's a public shower room.
What excuse do I have for being in the
Who
boys'
had the key to
shower
lock that
room?
door? Stop lying, lady!
At least I had Ben's stuff there to explore. I opened his locker, found his t-shirt, and felt so happy.
What, are you gonna smell where his nipples were?
That I was locked up
Just
in
gonna
there.
Snip it with one.
Anyway, I found a cute album,
nipples.
so I decided to open it. And I couldn't believe what I saw. I dropped the album and just stood there shaking. I picked it up again to see if what I saw was correct. And there were my pictures.
What?
Pictures of me eating.
Sleeping? Pictures of her sleeping? How did he get that picture? And how did he even get the picture of her eating?
Pictures of me going to bed.
What a twist!
Pictures of
me
changing clothes.
What a twist, I'm saying!
Was he stalking
What a twist!
Ben is a stalker?
But Ben is a stalker.
Is it
Bob
really
Ben
Ben?
is a big
can't
stalker.
believe this.
Look at this mother sucker in the
couldn't
window.
feel love to him anymore.
Bro,
I
what a
felt
freaking
creeped
twist.
out.
I gotta say it again. I gotta pause the video and I gotta say, what a twist.
The sun went
of
down
course.
and the shower room started to get cold, and I was all alone with no backpack and no phone, stuck in that cold place with that horrible fact. I just waited
crazy.
for my brother to notice that I'm not home and decided to take a nap on the
freaking
floor
twist.
just to kill time. Then I heard some noises outside.
Don't tell me it's Ben.
I waited for the sound
If it's
to get
Ben, I'm
louder
gonna smell
so I
that
can
smell.
call for help.
You guys know that smell.
But maybe it was just the
Oof.
wind.
Smells
I
like
kept
an animal.
trying to sleep.
Starts
Then
with a B.
I heard someone getting closer
Ends
to
with
the
an ul.
door.
If it's
So I
Ben,
started screaming for help.
it better not be
And
Ben.
suddenly, in that silence,
It better not be Ben.
someone started breaking the door. I yelled, "Coach, is that you?"
Coach,
But
is
to no
that you?
avail. I started to feel a bit scared as I heard someone breaking the door. Once
Why
the
would
door
they be
was
doing
open,
that? Who's
I
that?
saw Ben standing there, and he said, "Finally, you're all mine now."
Oh, get out of here! What? How did Ben even know that she was there?
With a grin on his face. He must have noticed that I'm not in my bedroom to stalk me, so he came searching
Bro, he got a
for
hood
me.
on, but it's not even
Or
covering his
was
face.
he stalking me from the very beginning? I don't know
Lamest
anymore.
stalker dude ever.
But what do I do now? I hit him with the
Yeah,
album
nice.
and ran down the hallway as he started chasing me.
Why
But all
are
the
there
school
locks
doors
on
were
every
locked.
door? What is
I
this,
started
prison high?
panicking. I couldn't breathe or focus properly. I
Think,
just
girl, think.
wanted to escape. I ran
Yeah.
and ran, but he ended up
What?
catching me. I started begging him,
Kick him.
"Please, let
Kick
me
him in
go.
his little balls.
I promise I won't tell anyone." I cried and fought for my life, kicked him somehow, and ran away. I kept running in circles. Sooner or
Dude,
later, someone must appear.
What is happening?
I started to feel tired and
I
realized
thought this whole thing was going to be
he'll get tired
lighthearted.
soon,
This
too.
is actually very
So
disturbing.
I can't give up now. I tried to hide somewhere to get some energy. I was so tired and hungry. And suddenly, I felt him pulling me by my hair from behind. It was getting
Holy crap,
darker,
this man can
and I
see
couldn't
through
see
walls.
much. He dragged me into his car.
Are you
and put
serious?
me in
He
the
literally
front
dragged
seat.
her by the
He pointed a gun
ponytail.
at me,
Oh, a
telling
gun!
me that if I move, he'll shoot me.
Where did he hold on? Where did he get a gun? These are high school students. Didn't this man not like her like 5 minutes ago, and now he pulling out the gun and get in the car and tell me you love me? Like, whose man's is this?
I was so scared, I couldn't move either way.
Whose
He took me
man's?
to some
And now he lives in a
the
cabin in the woods. Of course,
and tied me
and
to
now
a
he-
chair. He
Ugh.
said that he loved me and will always love, and that he will take care of me forever, and that all I had to do is stay in that cabin. He
Bro, I can't
is
believe this.
sick. How didn't I notice earlier? How can it be that the sweet guy I had a crush on is an obsessed psychopath? He gave me everything, clothes,
This
food,
is
and
so
forced
stupid.
hugs. But it still didn't feel right. Day by day,
Oh, pull me
he
out of my
woke up,
misery. Oh,
handcuffed
handcuffs
me,
kick
and
me
went
on
to
a
school.
Sunday morning,
And when
actually.
he came back,
not even a
he
Sunday
unlocked
night.
me, fed
Oh,
me,
nice.
and took good care of me.
I mean, not nice.
He brought
I
our
mean,
homework
nice
to
that
me
he was feeding
and
her,
taught
but not
me
nice that
everything
she's in
I
that
learned at
situation.
school.
He taught her math?
He even tested me to keep my mind updated. He bought me lots of gifts, day by day.
Wait. Never mind. I don't know what's happening anymore. I can't even speak anymore. I feel like I'm speaking in tongues. I think I got
Roses,
possessed by these
candies,
story animation
makeup,
dumb
nail
demons.
polishes, etc. He let me use his iPad only when he's watching, and while I was scrolling down on Facebook, I saw a post with my picture that said, "Missing." He took the iPad and said, "That's enough for today."
That's enough for
He gave me
today.
a kiss on my forehead, turned off the lights, and handcuffed me again, just
Damn,
like
he said
had
good night,
always
sleep
done.
tight like these
I laid
handcuffs.
my head on the pillow and started crying. He lied next to me and said, "It will be okay. I promise."
It will be okay.
At
You will be
night,
buried in
I
the
heard a
back
car
soon. I'm
driving,
kidding, guys.
But for some reason, it didn't even alert me. When he left in the morning, Ben forgot to handcuff me. But
What? Does he
didn't
just
want
go to
run.
school and then
I
date
didn't
Stacy?
want to go back home and school. I just wanted to stay with Ben. I felt warm with him. I cleaned up the cabin and prepared food and took a shower and waited for Ben to come.
The amount of twists in this video disturbs me. The amount of twists in this video disturbs me. There's a twist for a twist for a twist. My voice is actually going away as I speak because my mind is actually frying inside of my skull right now because of the ridiculousness of this animation. She could have left. She could have done anything she wanted. But you know what? She was like, damn, I really feel good with my guy Ben. Making him fried eggs, cleaning the house, waiting for him to come. And yes, you can take that any way you want. Waiting for him to come.
When he came back to a cooking smell, he looked shocked. I ran to him and gave him a hug and said, "You're finally home." He didn't say anything.
He didn't say anything. He's already a disgruntled middle-aged man.
After he'd eaten, I gave him some clean clothes and told him to take a shower so I could massage his back later. He did as I said without saying a word. I waited for him on the couch and thought about all the things I want to talk with him about. He came out from the bathroom in his clean pajamas that I gave him and sat next to me on the couch.
They're both psychos.
I patted his head and asked him if he'd like to drink something sweet, and he shook his head no, and just stared at me the whole time.
He's like a deer in headlights.
I asked him, "Aren't your parents angry that you didn't sleep at home for days?" He replied, "My parents are alcoholics."
Oh, I thought he was going to say my parents were dead. How many people thought he was going to say that? And I thought he was going to say, like, I killed them with that gun that I used to put you in this car to bring you into this cabin. I thought he was going to say that, for real.
I started telling him what a great person he is and how I had a crush on him and probably still do. He said, "But how? I kidnapped you." I know it is weird, but I was happy he did.
It's not weird.
The next day,
just
he left
illegal.
Earlier. And at the
disturbing,
evening,
and
he didn't come back home.
You need help.
I got worried.
You both do.
What if something happened to him on the way home? I spent the night all alone in the woods and waited for Ben to come back. But
why don't you guys, if you wanted to be in a relationship, why don't you just live your lives as normal? Go home to your parents, sleep in a warm bed, not in a cabin in the woods, and then let him go back to his alcoholic parents, or he could live in this cabin at night, I guess, and just continue a normal high school American relationship instead of whatever this is. I don't even know what's happening.
I decided to wait one more night, but he still didn't appear. I finally dressed up and got out from the cabin and started walking towards the lights of the street. Confused as I was never there before, I questioned everything around me. He kidnapped me. Isn't he happy that I'm fine with that? I walked and walked on the empty streets, and a man in a car then stopped, saying, "It's the missing girl! It's the missing girl!" They called the cops, and the cops took me to the police station. And they asked me where I've been all these days.
Oh yeah, that's why they couldn't go back to normal.
I didn't know what to answer.
Because she was kidnapped.
I just remained
and
silent.
Missing.
I didn't want to hurt the guy I love, but what's my excuse then? My parents were the nicest people to me. I can't get them in trouble as well. I didn't say a word to not hurt anyone, so they called my parents, and my parents took me home. They treated me better than ever, and my brother became nicer than ever with me.
Well, yeah, because you basically smelled his balls.
They took me to a psychologist, and I felt that it would be right to share it with him. A week later, I started going to school again, and I finally saw Ben again. He tried to ignore me, but I went after him. He turned around and said, "Sam, I'm sorry for everything. I was using you, and I got out of my mind. I can't hurt you anymore. I will turn myself in, I promise. Please, don't become crazy because of me." Crazy? Because of him? I went to my psychologist that day and told him what Ben said, and he told me that he is right, and that I have developed a syndrome which is called Stockholm Syndrome. And it happens when someone goes through an abusive trauma, and that apparently has happened to me. I couldn't believe it. So now I'm the sick one? Ben did turn himself in.
This
and
whole
I was
story
getting mental
is
treatment
nuts.
at the hospital.
Squirrely, hairy
He got his
nuts.
punishment for dealing with drugs and for kidnapping me. I'm slowly going back to my old routine, but it's not easy. What do you think of my story? Please share your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel.
I literally have no words for this. I mean, we all just saw what happened. I have no words. I kind of just want to erase this whole thing from my memory, Men in Black style. You know, that one thing that they just flash in your face. I want that to happen to me about 30 times right in my eyes. Both eyes, like one by one. So 60 times total will flash. And I just want to forget this. All right, guys, just to wash the taste out of our mouths from that last animation, we're going to check out one more story. It's called I've Got a Rare Disease. And the thumbnail was him eating himself. So let's check what this is all about.
Hi, my name is Kyle.
Oh, I like your voice,
Have you ever been
Kyle.
so scared of something?
I like
that
this
you
guy's
just couldn't cope?
voice.
I ate myself.
You ate yourself.
And it isn't a figure of speech. As long as I remember myself, I lived in constant fights. My parents fought every day. They yelled to the point that I, a 15-year-old guy, as I had done in my childhood, hid under the bed. I bit my own fingers and forearms until they bled so as not to scream from anger and powerlessness.
Oh, that's actually really
My fingers
gross.
looked like stumps. My lips and inner sides of my cheeks were bleeding and would not heal. And when they hurt too much, I chewed my tongue and my hair.
Oh, God.
understood
This
that
is
it was-
like giving me anxiety right now. I don't know what it is. Like, I could just imagine it.
It was abnormal, but could not stop eating myself. You can't imagine how many times I tried to stop. But this terrible habit
This is
was
like a
always
horror
stronger
story.
than me. My life seemed like a nightmarish maze without an exit. But
And
one
I'm
day,
really liking
in the
this guy's
midst of
voice.
darkness,
I'm really digging
a
it.
ray of light appeared. This ray was Miss Green.
Did you
the
eat Miss
school's
Green?
new psychologist and a very nice person. She came to deal with children and their problems, one of who was me. We met once a week and spoke, meaning she spoke while I quietly sat and looked at the ground. How I wanted to say just one word, but I couldn't.
Why?
I was scared
Oh,
that as
'cause
soon
you
as
ate
I
your tongue?
opened my mouth, she would start yelling, just as it had always been with my parents. One day, Miss Green offered to play a game, to get to know one another better. She asked many questions, and I was supposed to draw the answers. At first, I liked it, but everything went off the rails when Miss Green asked, "What are you scared of, Kyle?" I took a large piece of paper and drew for 2.5 hours.
God
Though
damn.
for me, it seemed as though not more than 2 minutes went by.
Let me see what that looked like.
All that time, Miss Green closely
Better look
watched me
good?
and wrote down remarks in her notebook.
Better be some Van
When I
Gogh.
showed her my drawing, all she could say is, "God, Kyle." In the drawing were
God,
the
Kyle,
eerie
you are
shadows of
messed
my
up.
parents who I saw every day from under my bed.
That took him 2 hours?
I'm
Boy, please.
scared of getting the fear, was the only thing I told her throughout all
I
of
just
our
slap my
sessions.
dick on the paper. It'd be better than
Miss
that.
Green took the drawing with her, saying she wanted to show it to someone.
The
She
police.
gifted me a drawing book in which I would draw. Among its pages, there was a note. "Kyle, you're the most courageous person of all." I started carrying this note under my heart. Now, during my parents' fights, I didn't chew on my fingers, but I wrote in my book. It seemed like I wasn't too bad at it. My fingers, cheeks, and forearms finally started healing. I felt normal, and after each session with Miss Green, it became easier. She was
This
so
actually
nice
feels like a
and
true
beautiful.
story.
One day,
I believe
I
this,
understood
1,000,000%.
that I was in love. I imagined that after finishing school and college, I would come and marry her. But my dreams were destroyed when I saw Miss Green kissing a guy.
Well, obviously. She's a
I
grown
was
woman, and you're some
heartbroken.
15-year-old
I
punk
wanted to
who
scream,
bites his hands.
but instead, I hid under a bridge.
Oh, no.
I cried nonstop.
Oh, no.
and bit
I
my
was just
fingers,
kidding. Oh,
lips,
God. I
cheeks,
hate that.
and forearms. In my fist, I squeezed the only important things for me, Miss Green's note.
This is so sad.
That morning, the police found me. I was almost unconscious, and I was taken to the hospital.
This is actually really sad.
My parents were already waiting in the ward.
They're already waiting
As soon
to
as
argue.
we were alone,
Look at their
they
face.
started yelling. "How could you run away from us? Do you even imagine what problems you created?" I couldn't listen to their yelling. I needed to hide, crawl under the hospital bed. But
This guy's
suddenly,
voice is
I
amazing.
felt something soft in my fist.
I gotta applaud it.
Miss Green's note. This piece of paper
I love his voice.
filled me with strength. "Courageous," I whispered.
Aw.
But my parents didn't hear the words. "The most courageous person of all is me, Kyle!" I yelled in such a way
Good
that
for
they
you.
suddenly became quiet. Mom and Dad looked at me. In their eyes, I saw the same fear that followed me my entire life. "Shut up! Go away! I don't want to see you!"
Ooh, he
I
grew
yelled,
some balls
repeating
under
what
that
they
bridge.
would tell me.
Some big
Hearing the yelling,
cojones
the
under
doctor
that
ran
bridge.
into the ward and got my parents out. Miss Green and the guy she had kissed came inside. He ended
Wow.
up being her fiancé.
Way to beat a
and
man while he's
teacher at
down.
one of the country's best art schools. His name was Gary. He told me that
Gary's
the best
so
art
hairy.
critics and artists were amazed by my drawing. I was
Gary
invited
and
to
Larry are
participate in a
different from
contest
Jerry.
to receive a scholarship to their school. A month later, I won it.
I paused the video for one reason. And that reason is bullshit!
I left my parents and started my studies. It was very hard for me to speak with people, but I already have friends. At the end of the story, I guess there's supposed to be an ending about the fact that I no longer bite my fingers or cheeks, but that's not the case. I just can't get rid of this habit. I used to eat myself because of fear.
Stop.
Now I do it when I draw with inspiration.
What the?
Van Gogh cut off his ear, and God help me, I won't bite off my finger at some point. Thanks for being with me these few minutes.
That was actually really good.
Fear?
I enjoyed that one a lot more than some of the other ones that I've seen. But yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for me reacting to these true story animations. A lot of you guys always recommend me new ones to watch, so if you guys want me to see any more across the internet, make sure you leave them down low in the comments below. But if you enjoyed this series and want more in the future, make sure you guys give this video one big fat like, and tell a friend today that Jay from the Kubz Scouts is that dude!